A Hollywood executive once looked a young Harrison Ford dead in the eye and said he had no future in this business. Today, that same man wouldn't even make the credits in Ford's story. Before he was Indiana Jones, before he soared through galaxies as Han Solo, before he became a living legend, Harrison Ford was just another struggling actor trying to survive in an industry that told him he wasn't good enough. And the reason? His name and his hair. Let's rewind. It's the 1960s. Harrison Ford is a fresh face in Hollywood, signed to Columbia Pictures for a meager $150 a week. That contract came with big dreams, the chance to break into movies, to build something from nothing. But one afternoon, Ford is called into the office of Columbia's head of new talent. He walks in, probably expecting advice, maybe encouragement. What he gets is a verbal gut punch. The studio exec doesn't sugarcoat it. He tells Harrison flat out, "You have no future in this business." He goes further, says the name Harrison Ford sounds too stiff, too self-important, suggests a rebrand, a cooler name, a flashier look, maybe something more. Elvis. And the cherry on top? He recommends Ford get a haircut, not just any haircut, but an Elvis Presley-style pompadour. But here's the twist. Ford doesn't flinch. He refuses to play along. He doesn't change his name. He doesn't touch his hair. He walks out of that office unchanged, at least on the outside. On the inside, a fire had been lit. He stuck it out for a while, about a year and a half into what was supposed to be a 7-year contract. Then he quit. No drama, no fight, just a quiet exit from the studio that didn't believe in him. That could have been the end of the story. It wasn't. Broken, uncertain, Ford picked up a hammer and became a carpenter. Not because he wanted to, but because he had to. He had mouths to feed, bills to pay. Hollywood wasn't calling, so he built cabinets instead of careers. And yet, that choice, that ordinary, survival-based pivot led him straight back to the dream he thought he'd left behind. Because one day, while doing carpentry work for director George Lucas, something clicked. Lucas saw something in him that Columbia Pictures didn't. First, a role in American Graffiti. Small, but noticeable. Then came the game-changer Star Wars. Han Solo wasn't just a character. He was a cultural earthquake. And Ford was at the epicenter. The carpenter who once hammered nails into kitchen walls was now flying the Millennium Falcon, wisecracking through space and redefining cool for an entire generation. And still, that wasn't all. He put on a fedora and cracked a whip as Indiana Jones. He hunted replicants in Blade Runner. He dodged bullets in The Fugitive. He wore suits in Working Girl. And in between, he proved he wasn't just a blockbuster magnet, he was a true actor, with depth, charm, and emotional weight. Ford became the man directors fought to work with. Spielberg, Ridley Scott, Peter were just to name a few. He didn't bend to Hollywood. Hollywood bent to him. But here's where it gets poetic. Years later, at a glitzy event, Ford spots a familiar face in the crowd. It's the same executive who told him he had no future, the same guy who hated his name and hair. The man sends him a note. Just a short message. "I missed my guess." That's it. No apology. Just a quiet admission of failure. Ford reads it, looks up, and can't even remember which guy he is. Eventually, the man nods. Ford nods back. That's all. No revenge. No bitterness. Just a living, breathing success story in motion. But Harrison Ford didn't get here by being bitter. He got here by being uncompromising. In a world where actors were told to mold themselves into carbon copies, he stayed original. In an industry built on image, he stood by substance. He didn't cut his hair. He didn't rename himself. And he didn't follow advice that didn't sit right with him. Because deep down, he knew something the execs didn't, that authenticity lasts longer than trends. Today, Harrison Ford is 83. He's still working, still leading films, still reminding everyone that age doesn't mean expiration, not when you're fueled by passion and conviction. And what about that name? Harrison Ford isn't just a name anymore. It's a brand, a legacy, a symbol of resilience in an industry that eats stout for breakfast. The same people who once told him to change are probably still wondering how they got it so wrong. But here's the truth. They weren't wrong about Ford. They were just wrong about what Hollywood really needs. It doesn't need another Elvis haircut. It needs another Harrison Ford, someone who refuses to fake it just to make it. So the next time someone tells you to shrink yourself to fit their vision, remember this story. Don't cut your hair. Don't change your name. Don't change who you are just to fit in. Because the world doesn't need more copies.